Thank you, Chair. And again, Mr. Murdoch Senior, can I ask you, I have a number of short questions for you. Why did you enter the back door at number 10 when you visited the Prime Minister following the last general election?
Because I was asked to.
You were asked to go in the back door of number 10?
Yes.
Why would that be?
To avoid photographers in the front. I imagine. I don't know. I was asked. I just did what I was told.
It's strange that given heads of state managed to go in the front door.
Yes.
Yet you have to go in the back door.
Yes. That's the choice of the Prime Minister or their staff or whoever do these things.
So was it under the Prime Minister's direct instructions that you come in the back door?
I was asked would I please come in through the back door.
I don't think my father would have any direct knowledge of the arrangements that were being made for his entry or exit from a particular building, Mr. Sheridan, respectfully.
Okay. Again, Mr. Murdoch, have you ever imposed any preconditions?
Which visit to Downing Street are you talking about?
It was just following the last general election.
I was invited within days to have a cup of tea to be thanked for the support by Mr. Cameron. No other conversation took place.
And that
lasted minutes.
And that's the one you went in through the back door?
Yes. I had been asked also by Mr. Brown many times.
Through the back door?
Yes.
Can I also ask you, Mr. Murdoch?
And my family who went there many times.
Have you ever imposed any preconditions upon a party leader in the UK before giving them the support of your newspapers?
I've never guaranteed anyone the support of our newspapers. We had been supporting the Thatcher government and the Conservative government that followed, and we felt it had got tired, and we changed and supported the Labour Party, whenever it was, 13 years ago, with the direct loss of 200,000 circulation.
Did you ever impose any preconditions on either the Labour Party or the Conservative Party? No preconditions whatsoever?
No, the only conversations I'd had with them, with Mr. Blair, that I can remember, were arguing about the euro.
Well, Mr. Blair visited you halfway around the world.
He what?
Mr. Blair visited you halfway around the world before the 1997 election. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
That was something that Mr. Cameron arranged. Ms. Campbell.
Can I also ask you, it is understood that the FBI are investigating 9/11 victims. Have you commissioned an investigation into these allegations?
We have seen no evidence of that at all, and as far as we know, the FBI haven't either. If they do, we will treat it exactly the same way as we treat it here, and I cannot believe it happened from anyone in America, whether someone at the News of the World or Mr. Mulcair took it on himself to do it, I don't know. It was certainly unnecessary since everybody...
If I can go back to... I'll come back to you, James, in a minute. But I just want to clarify, is that if these allegations are anyway true whatsoever, will you commission an investigation into them?
Absolutely.
Okay. Also, you must be horrified by the scandal and the fact that it's cost you the Sky B transaction and led to the closure of the News of the World. Who do you blame for that?
Well, a lot of people had different agendas, I think, in trying to build this hysteria. All our competitors in this country formally announced a consortium to try and stop us, and they caught us with dirty hands and they built hysteria around it.
But I think it's... So was it the competitors that blocked it, that stopped you getting...
No, I think a mood developed which made it really impractical to go ahead.
Mr. Sheridan, we have been very clear that serious allegations of wrongdoing have been leveled about the News of the World. And we believed that the News of the World, the actions of some reporters and people some years ago have fundamentally tarnished the trust that the News of the World had with its readers. And this is a matter of huge and sincere regret of mine, my father's, and the company's. The company's priority, very much so, is to restore that trust, is to operate in the right way. It's to make sure that the company can be the company that it has always aspired to be, and the removal of the offer to make the proposal to make an offer to the B Sky B shareholders who are not News Corporation is simply a reflection of that priority of moving forward.
Well, I have every sympathy with what you're saying, but do you understand that people who have been the victims of the News of the World based on allegations will find that a bit strange?
And it is our absolute priority to, with those. What happened at the News of the World was wrong. We and I have apologized profusely and unreservedly for that, and my father has as well.
Okay.
These are very, very serious matters, and we are trying to establish the facts of any new allegations as they come up. We are working closely with the police to find out who was, where the wrongdoing was, and to hold people accountable. And I think importantly as well, to the victims of illegal voicemail interceptions, not just have we apologized, but we have admitted liability. The company has admitted liability, and we have set up the appropriate third-party compensation schemes to do that. Okay. These are all matters that we are fully engaged in.
If I can just return to your father, I know that's a very stressful time for yourselves, but Mr. Murdoch, do you accept that ultimately you are responsible for this whole fiasco?
No.
You're not responsible. Who is responsible?
The people that I trusted to run it, and then maybe the people they trusted.
Can you name?
I worked with Mr. Hinton for 52 years, and I would trust him with my life.
Okay. Are you satisfied that the cash payments that were made by the News Corporation companies to informants for stories were registered with appropriate tax authorities?
I don't know anything about that. Perhaps
if people were given
James
money, if people were given money in order to accomplish stories,
people were given money to,
in order to get stories, was that? Did you notify the appropriate tax authorities about this?
All of our financial affairs and are, as a public company, are transparent, are audited. The tax jurisdictions that the company works in all around the world are worked with transparently and thoroughly. Tax compliance is an important priority for any business, and we comply, and the company complies with the laws.
Would that also include people who are in regular monthly retainers registering their affairs with HMRC?
I can't speak. I have no knowledge of separate people on retainers of the company and their own tax affairs or their own tax arrangements. I can speak for the company's tax arrangements, and to the best of my knowledge, we are a company that takes tax compliance, regulatory compliance, financial and regulatory transparency hugely seriously, and it's something that we're very proud of.
Now,
we want to start these questions in more detail.
Can I just turn to James, and you'll be aware of the situation regarding Tommy Sheridan, the former MSP who's currently in prison. Bob Bird, whether deliberately or inadvertently, misled the jury in Tommy Sheridan's perjury trial. Your company has not disclosed the internal emails that may aid the appeal of Mr. Sheridan. Why is that?
I don't have direct knowledge of that, Mr. Sheridan. I apologize, but certainly if you have additional questions on that in the future, I'm happy to supply written answers, but I don't have direct knowledge, and I'm not in a position to answer those questions.
Just a couple more questions, Chair. James, could you please confirm or deny whether any News Corporation company is the subject of an investigation by the Serious Fraud Office?
I have no knowledge of that. I have no knowledge of that at this point.
And could you also confirm or deny whether any News Corporation company is the subject of an investigation by the Financial Services Authority?
I don't believe so, but not to my knowledge.
And finally, please confirm or deny whether any News Corporation company is a subject of an investigation by HMRC.
Not to my knowledge. We have ongoing dialogue with the HMRC and the various subsidiaries here, but as far as investigations are concerned, I have no knowledge of one.
Okay.
And finally, are you familiar with the term willful blindness?
Mr. Sanders, would you care to elaborate?
It is a term that came up in the Enron scandal. Willful blindness is a legal term. It states that if there is knowledge that you could have had and should have had but chose not to have, you are still responsible.
Mr. Sanders, do you have a question? Respectfully, I don't know what you'd like me to say.
Whether you were aware.
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that particular phrase.
But now you are familiar with the term because I've explained it to you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders.
I've heard the phrase before, and we were not ever guilty of that.